Hello, all. This is Wayne Chambers, 36 Chambers Finance. Welcome back for another week. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff this week that pertains to the movement of your future. So, today's topic, what I want to talk about was behind the scenes money. Basically, for anyone who knows or vaguely knows what this is, I'm putting it in real layman's terms so that it can be better understood. So, behind the scenes money, in the case of your financial future, is basically money that is working for you that you may not be real time aware of. That would be a savings account, a mutual fund. For most people, it's a 401k. A full perfect example is a 401k. A 401k is basically behind the scenes money for you. It is constantly working. It is constantly on the move, and it's moving with the ripples and the flows of the stock market. Now, for those of you who may not have those type of jobs that offer 401ks, what I want to talk about is being able to get that behind the scenes money. So, we're going to talk about how to get it, but at the same time, we're going to talk about how it really works for you. And having that kind of money behind the scenes, because I've encountered this myself. Matter of fact, I encountered it just today, of the availability of money that you totally forgot about. Wasn't even on your mind till someone or something reminded you that money was there. So basically, this money has been working. This money has been gathering interest, working with the stock market ups and downs, or however you got it moving, and you haven't even really been aware of it. In my case, I'd forgotten all about it. You have money per paycheck, per month going into that account, but for the most part, that account is something you don't touch, don't plan to touch, nowhere in the future. You may be using that account for an emergency, saving for a vacation, something of that nature. So that money is growing and you're not even paying attention to it. Now, I know that can be hard when you have a household that's kind of pinching and really have to be tight on every penny you save. But trust me, it is well worth it, because as we've spoken about before, that type of emergency money comes in handy when you're trying to figure out how to get your car serviced, an emergency repair on your house, and then you turn around and look and you're like, I have no idea where this money is coming from. I don't know where I'm going to get this. Am I going to have to sacrifice this bill? Am I going to have to sacrifice that? And then all of a sudden it pops up in your head and you're like, wow, I forgot that I had that money there. Let me go see how much money is over there. So your bill costs $600, which in some cases is food, a car payment, and mortgage to some people. You look in your account and you got $1,000 in there. So basically, what happened, you paid that bill and it did not disrupt your life in any way. Your life keeps moving. That's the type of money that you have working in the background. And I say that because just recently we have a lot of talk about our current president and his staff not wanting to, I guess, divest their interest or not wanting to remove themselves from the workings of the companies that they're CEOs of, owners of things of that nature, because they don't want to stop that money from coming in. That's anybody. You don't want to stop the money from coming in for a job that pays substantially less. But, pardon me, these people are already millionaires, so they don't care. But what we're coming to find out is they still have that connection, just enough connection so that that money is running in the background. So if that money is running in the background, that means not only we're not talking about being influenced by whatever situation arises, they may influence that situation to better help their company or whatever, but you're also talking about a wide safety net that they have. A safety net that, should something happen, they fall back, and I still got $10 million. I still got millions of dollars, millions with an S, that I have to retire off of, my medical off of. That's why they not worried about this. And this is what I'm telling you people. If you have that type of thing going on, if you got the background money going on, and you living your life, and you got that fallback, guess what? You don't worry about that neither. Your mind is working on a different level, because you don't want anything to affect your safety net. You know you got the BS that's going to affect your here and now. That's anybody. We know the stocks are going, the stock market is going to go up and down. We know that over here we got some things going on that's going to rise and fall. But we know that that background money, that safety net is still there. And hopefully we may have forgotten about it, and it pops up later on when you're trying to figure out what to do. That money is not for, I ain't got no gas money, so let me grab some of that. Or I ain't got this, I ain't got some little stuff that don't mean nothing. That's a regular savings account, which we've talked about that. This money is literally made, background money, what in the scenes that what I'm talking about, being behind the scenes, is money that is working for you without your everyday involvement, direct involvement, having to move it from one place to another constantly. It's nice to monitor it, but it's not an everyday thing. Why? Because it's working behind the scenes of what's going on in your life, so that you don't have to mess with that. How do you get that behind the scenes money? Well, you talk to a person like me. We sit down one-on-one, and we talk about how to get you that money working behind the scenes. We talk about how to get that money working so that it's more than a savings account. It's more than a safety net. It's a surprise and an extra in your life, because I've set it up before and people have forgotten about it. Come to me and we talking, and I just happen to come up. How is that particular account doing? You know, I forgot about that account. You know, I did what you said. I did this, I did that, blah, blah, blah. And I totally forgot about that. I'm gonna check that, and I'm gonna get back with you. So that account has been sitting there for years. They come back to me and be like, man, you know, I got enough in that account to buy a new car. A small car. I'm not talking about, you know, no brand new 2017 Escalade, but I'm talking about a small car, $10,000, $15,000. You'd be surprised at how that money will be there, it will rise up, and it just continues to work on top of itself and work some more. It works for you. And when you turn around and look at it, you're like, I forgot it. Wow, I didn't even realize I had this much money. Man, these bills I've been worrying about, they gone. That's that in comparison to a 401k. Most people, when they start using when they start having a 401k, they contribute to it and they forget about it. All you see is the little statement they give you every month or biannually or annually or whenever you file your taxes. What I'm saying is go a step further. We're talking about an account with minimum interaction with you, so that when the time comes, it will have a substantial amount of money in there that you can use. This is how the upper echelon of income works. These aren't secrets. They tell you this. These aren't secrets, but the understanding of it, they may be using the wrong wording. They may be saying the dividend or just using words that most people every day don't use. So most people get frustrated. They're not going to look it up. That's where I'm going to come in at. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Because I'm going to break that down for you. If you got something you got to ask me, I'm going to break it down in the simplest terms. I'm not going to be using what you would call the most technical terms, which most people is not layman terms. Most people don't understand that. Most people don't understand what points on a house mean. A lot of people don't understand what dividends mean. A lot of people don't understand how the interest or the buybacks or sellouts or the fact that common stock and preferred stock. Most people don't know what that is when you're talking about it. Most financial advisors don't know how to explain that to you. So I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna explain it to you. And today we talking about behind the scenes money. 401ks are behind the scenes money. A saving account that your parents gave you is behind the scenes money. Bonds, savings bonds that you buy your kid that grow over time. That's behind the scenes money. That's money that you can't interact with without going out of your way, without incurring a serious penalty or something of that nature. So you just leave it. You just leave it alone, let it do what it does. Once you get that behind the scenes money and it is a steady, you're putting into it steadily, you'll be surprised. All these people with you're currently having these medical problems and you're trying to figure out, if you start now, when you're in your 30s, when you're in your late 20s, and I mean minimum $25, $50 a month, minimum $15, $20 a month, you'll be surprised at what happens to that over years of just keeping on and staying with it. How that money, when you get older, it's more than a forward. You can't be penalized for that. If you need that in 5 years, guess what? You can take it out. If you need that in 6 months, you can use that money. But I want you to put it in there. I want you to forget about it. And I want it to spring to your mind at your lowest moment, or when someone else like myself remind you. We ain't talked about that account for years. I'm going through your paperwork. Oh, so what happened to such and such account? I want you to say, man, I totally forgot about that. I forgot my money was even going to that. I know it's hard. I know it gets hard when you have every penny has to be counted. But this is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm out here and I'm saying it right now. You counting your pennies wrong. The middle class is turning into the middle class and middle income is turning to the low income because you're counting your pennies wrong. I am not going to sit here and sugarcoat it for you. That's just not my way. You are not using your money till its fullest advantage. And you're spending your money in the worst way possible. You got services out here giving money away. That's too hard to take that extra 2 minutes of my life to get some of this extra money. You look at a show like what is it? Like Cheap Steaks or Penny Pinchers or something like that, and you laugh at those people. But those people got a plan. Most of the time they're millionaires. You're laughing at them and you are not even close to where they're at. Now, I'm not saying extreme penny pinching or anything of that nature, because most people that's too tedious for them, the average Joe. What I am saying is some of their habits can be incorporated into your life. Some of their thinking can be incorporated into your life. I know it's hard not to get out here and buy those new clothes and buy that new stuff, but that stuff can be incorporated into your life. Now, as I sit here and I'm even now while I'm talking, I'm doing a live broadcast. I'm sitting here and I'm observing what's going on in the world. I'm always trying to stay on top of finance, and I'm always trying to enlighten my knowledge of what's going on. So we've talked about the behind the scenes money, and let's speak on some of the things going around in the world of finances. People think that the president has a minimum amount of power because usually the president has a lot of self-control about what they say and how they say it. Our current president is taking us into a new era because of his uncertainty. Now, this is another reason, and this has reflects on that money that I tell you that should be working behind the scenes. It adds stability to your life about your future. Not saying that we don't care about our neighbors, not saying we don't care about other people, but if your life isn't stable, you can't help anybody else. You can't give somebody an extra room in your house if you don't have a house to give them an extra room in. that behind the scenes money may be the difference between you being fired and being able to stay in your house until you sell it, or you being fired and your house being foreclosed on in 5-6 months. So what they're talking about now is this whole what's he calling it, the AHCA, I think it's what he's calling it. So that's the new healthcare bill. Pay attention to this bill, people, because if drug prices go up, that cascades into a lot of things. Okay, let's talk about the make money part. You can make money off of it by investing in those particular stocks. You can lose money off of it by being sick. So your choices in that, the rich people or people who have enough money to invest in these stocks are going to continue to get richer. These companies will raise their prices, which in turn raises their profits, because they have a product that you have to buy to stay alive. Understand how that works, how America has made that work, because what they do is they get a patent for their particular product or medicine, so that a generic medicine cannot come out in the US. That's why you see generic medicines all over the place overseas. What happens is another company comes, buys that particular medicine, breaks it down to on the molecular level almost, and they come up with the same product, just ever so slightly different because of cost and whatnot, depending on how much it is to make that particular product. Now, if the prices aren't controlled, a product that costs $10 to make, they're going to charge $100 for, sometimes upward of the thousands. Now, your insurance company pays for this. They have to get their money back. So their particular premiums go up. Now, the old ACA, it was not perfect. Far from it. There were many parts of that I absolutely did not like. But it was a stepping stone. And one of the things it did was rein in how much they could raise a price or a proper price up on a particular product. The new one doesn't do that. Now, how that affects the average Joe, in what I'm saying is, I want you to have the money working in the background for you. I want you to have an emergency cash flow. That means you have an emergency. That's for everyday stuff. I ran out of gas. The accounts are empty. I need $50 for some gas money to get me through the week. Little emergency. The house needs a new roof. Little emergency. The car needs tires. Little emergency. What I'm talking about is, I lost my job. My 401k is depleted. The house hasn't sold. What am I going to do? Emergency. That's what that is. When you have to ask family, friends, whoever, strangers on the street, that's emergency. For those that don't own the houses, you still have, I lost my job, 401k is depleted, I'm about to lose my apartment, or I'm about to be in the street and I don't know where I'm gonna live. Emergency money. This will get me somewhere else to where I can afford to take a job paying less money, or take a minimum wage job and live maybe with a friend for a little while. Emergency money. That's what I'm talking about when I say behind the scenes money. That is, unexpected medical bill came up. It's $1,000. I don't have $1,000. If I take $1,000 from somewhere, then I can't. It's gonna be mortgage for 2 months. It's gonna be rent for 2 months. It's gonna be a bill that has to be paid. My lights are gonna be off. Emergency money. That's what that is. And as the financial situation continually changes in America, we live by money. We die by it here in the United States. Not having that behind the scenes money keeps the poor poor, keeps the rich rich, because they have that money working behind the scenes for them. You have people who sell stock because they couldn't make their trip to Europe. Look the way they use behind the scenes money. I'm talking about using it for emergency money. That money working behind the scenes of not part of your job, not part of connected to how your job is. That's what I'm talking about. They use behind the scenes money to take a year-long excursion to Paris, to chill out on the beach for the next 2 years. That's what they use their behind the scenes money for. I want you to get there. I really do. So that you look at your behind the scenes money and it's like, okay, I can take a week. When I take my week off, I can go anywhere I want to. That behind the scenes money can be powerful, people. You'll be amazed at what that money will let you do. How that money frees you up. And if you get so much money in there, that behind the scenes money becomes something that you can exist off of. So that when we sit here talking about this particular stock went down or this particular stock went up, you be like, oh, you know what that means? That means I'm going to take so much of that, take it from behind the scene, put it in the front, and buy me a new car. Go on vacation. This goes back to previous talks that I've talked about when I've said, what happens when you have no huge bills and all you have is your everyday bills? If all you have is just your everyday and month-to-month bills outside of mortgage, car payment, student loans, if all you have is electricity and water and buying some food, you can work anywhere. You can vacation anywhere. You can do everything you want to do. Take some of that behind the scenes money you got going on, which then stops being emergency money, because you no longer have a foreseeable emergency that money is needed for, because you're working, you have no bills, and that money you put behind that is just whatever. That for money, that money that's in the front is what you're using. So that behind the scenes money is just there. You know, it's sitting there for 20 years, you done forgot about it, you turn around $2-3 million in there. Now, wouldn't that be nice? And then when we sit down and discuss how we gonna split that $2 million because of that good advice I gave you, we can sit back, have a drink, laugh about it. Because that's what that behind the scenes money does. It changes your way of thinking. Gets you on a whole new level. Well, people, as usual, it's been real. I enjoyed having this talk. It's Wayne Chambers, 36 Chambers Financial. I hope to see you all next week.